Hey everyone, good afternoon. I'm Chief Meteorologist Arel Winninger from the Central Oregon Daily Weather Center, and it is time for a deep dive into your most reliable forecast. Now, several changes are expected through the next couple of days, and we're going to take several minutes to look at what's been happening, what's going to happen, how it's going to affect you, and what you can expect through the rest of this work week going into the weekend. Remember, like always, if you have any questions, drop them in the comment section below. I'll do my best to get to them as we go forward through this evening, but let's go ahead and start off today. It was a stunning day across Central Oregon. There were some clouds. We topped out in the 70s with a few 60s, and as we go forward through this evening, some periods of reduced air quality are going to be possible, but the next few days bring a gradual and steady cool down that'll bring us back to more seasonal conditions. So a quick look at just one of the Oregon Hazards Lab cameras that we have access to, and this was taken earlier this afternoon, and we can actually see that when we look to the south and southwest of where that camera is, there was a column of smoke. This was a prescribed burn that the Forest Service was doing, and it is just that time of the year again, prescribed burn season. There was also another plume that this camera was focused on periodically, but we didn't see too much growth with that. It could have been another pile burn of some kind going on. And so through the afternoon, we did have some smoke that was developing because it is a prescribed burn. Now, we don't have too much in the way of reduced air quality now, and this prescribed burn that started earlier today, was expected to be around 60 acres. Now, winds have been getting breezy at times, but it hasn't been carrying too much of that smoke. When we look at the hourly average, we are in the green. The hourly average is that contour you see on the map. The little dots, those are from east base, and that is air quality there. And we don't even see a dip in air quality from that either. And it's mostly because the way the winds are blowing, it's pretty much avoiding where the sensors are when it comes to that smoke. But looking across our Tri-County area right here and right now, very little cloud cover across the high desert, no precipitation in sight, and those cameras are just showing some gorgeous views. Now, when we look a little deeper and go into some of the cameras that are right at the roads, right at the surfaces, we can see a whole lot of shadows on the ground, and that sun is just shining. Temperatures have been in a very pleasant range, and a ridge of high pressure has been building into the Pacific Northwest, but we also have the tail end of a cold front. You can barely make it out on this satellite imagery, the enhanced infrared satellite, and it shows that there are some clouds that are expected to roll in through the rest of this evening. Meanwhile, switching gears, looking at water vapor, we do see a slot of dry air coming into the Tri-County area, and there's just no precipitation at all. Going from infrared and water vapor straight to visible and infrared combined together, we only see a few clouds, and through the entire Pacific Northwest, we are bone dry. Now, this afternoon and evening, winds have been getting a little breezy at times, but look at these temperatures. Highs mostly in the 70s with a few 60s out there, and temperatures right here, right now, are mostly in the 70s with 67 degrees in Sisters. And that puts us between close to where we were yesterday, all the way up to 7 degrees warmer. At times today, we were 10 degrees warmer than 24 hours ago, but this warming trend is going to be wrapping up. We're expecting a cool down through the next couple of days, but it's not going to be a huge dramatic drop in temperatures. However, we are losing about 20, maybe a little bit more than 20 degrees in some areas, but that's bringing us back down to a seasonal range. So we have this short wave, a low pressure system that's right along the international line, and that's what's dipping into the Pacific Northwest. And this forecast model that I'm showing you is using geopotential height, and that just helps us understand where the high pressure is, where the low pressure is, where winds are going to be strong, and where the potential for some cooling is, because that cooling typically follows low pressure regions that are coming down from the Arctic through Canada and into the Pacific Northwest. And so a cooler air mass is dipping into the region. Now, this low is coming with some showers. Those showers just aren't coming into the Tri-County area. So through Wednesday, we're looking at highs in the 60s with a few 70s. By Thursday, that short wave, that low pressure, that very weak low pressure dips into the Pacific Northwest and the northern Rockies. That cooler air mass follows, wind speeds pick up. So Thursday, it's going to be a breezy day with highs in the 50s and some 60s possible. More sunshine is in the planner, and look out over the Pacific Ocean. That broad ridge of high pressure is going to be building into the Pacific Northwest as we're wrapping up the work week. Tons of sunshine, few light clouds by the afternoon mostly, and we are expecting temperatures to rebound into the 60s. So that means roller coaster temperatures are expected. We're staying dry through Friday. Now by Saturday, another cold front starts to approach. By the afternoon, we're back to mostly sunny conditions. Temperatures dip down a little bit, but not too much. Still above average for this time of the year with highs in the 60s, but some sprinkles are going to be possible. And I'll show you what I'm talking about here through the regular forecast model when we get there. And with these roller coaster temperatures, we're looking at above average and pleasantly warmer than it should be for this time of the year, all the way to seasonal conditions, so 50s and 60s after today. A few 70s are possible. Now here's that forecast model that I promised you, and we're going to go back to it. There we go. And there's a cold front that is digging south in through the Pacific Northwest, but it's not bringing any precipitation with it. So through the rest of tonight, you can expect a few clouds, temperatures getting chilly, and by the AM, that's when some of those clouds push to the high desert. This is the cloud cover associated with our cold front, and that clears the area. By Wednesday, we start to see a hint of this next system working its way into the region, but watch those showers. They move directly south. And so it's coming into parts of eastern Oregon, but the Tri-County area, central Oregon, our high desert, is staying dry. And by Thursday, some in and out clouds are possible. And that'll be the coolest day out of the next several, not quite the next 7. But by Friday, we start to rebound, and that's when we're back to mostly sunshine. Saturday, another weak front is expected. So let's go ahead, backtrack a little bit, go to Friday night. Switch over to the GFS. This is the American model that shows long-range forecast conditions. And we threw a layer on there that also shows surface winds so we can see when it's getting breezy for parts of the high desert. And by Friday night, we're looking at increasing clouds. Saturday, some sprinkles are possible as that next front works its way through the Pacific Northwest. And then we go back to clearing by the afternoon. Sunday, a few mountain showers or flurries are going to be possible, but we stay dry through central Oregon. And then by Monday, we're expecting some clearing, back to sunshine, back to our next warming trend through Tuesday. And so between now and 11 p.m. Thursday, we're not looking at too much in the way of precipitation, just a few sprinkles through the Cascades. There'll be far between, very few of us getting wet at all. Now, winds today have been picking up, especially compared to what we saw yesterday. Gusts between 15 and 20 miles per hour, actual wind speeds between 10 and almost 15 miles per hour through the high desert. Those winds coming out of the north. And remember, we have that prescribed burn just south of Sisters. Looking at our winds trend for Bend, this is our now line. Everything to the left of that line is what was already observed. Everything to the right of that line is forecast. And here, through the next couple of hours, winds are going to get breezy at times. Notice they're coming out of the northwest and the north-northwest. Some of that smoke could come further down the 97 corridor and into the greater Bend area. And we are looking at periods of reduced air quality. By Wednesday, though, as temperatures warm up into the 60s, that atmosphere expands. Where we have some of that reduced air quality, it improves, and stronger winds will prevail through the afternoon and evening. We're copying that on Wednesday with breezy winds expected. So for tonight, 30s and a few 40s. Some AM clouds. By Wednesday, we're looking at 60s with a few 70s possible. Some in and out cover is expected. No rain in sight. We dip down to near average Thursday. By Friday, we rebound through Saturday, and there will be a chance for a few showers Saturday during the AM and midday hours before that before the showers give way to more sunshine. And more in and out clouds are expected Sunday and Monday, but by Easter, we're back down to near and a little below average for this time of the year before our next warming trend. That's the latest in weather. Tune in tonight to Central Oregon Daily News with the latest headlines and news and your full and most reliable forecast. We'll see you then.